Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm here today to do a review of Hunter x Hunter episode 121. Now, this episode's a little different than most episodes. The reason being is because most episodes are nearly 100% third person storytelling. This one's about 60/40, 60% third person storytelling and 40% first person storytelling, which I like because it was getting kind of played out, the whole everything being in third person there about it. But anyway, excuse me, the way this started out was Poof was talking to Pito with Gon sitting in the center in the room with Komogi laying on the ground, being operated on by Pito. And Poof was about to come through to kill Gon, but Pito was like, no, stop, don't, because if you did, then he would just kill Komogi, and he sensed you coming anyway. Now, Poof understood this and was like, well, I'm gonna go away. But Gon stopped and said, no, you can control people, can't you? You stay where you are, don't take another step. And Poof started to think about it. He was like, shit, he knows my power. At least that's the look I got. That's what I got from the look Poof gave. And then he was like, all right, I'll stay here if you tell me everything that's happening. Because he didn't really understand what was going on, why Pito was looking so weak, and why she was in such a faint mood to protect the girl. And he thought that Gon was trying to protect the girl and would never do anything to harm her, which Gon really wouldn't, but to Pito didn't know that. So basically, what's going on was now you've got Poof sitting still, and you've got this deal made between Gon, Poof, and Pito for Poof to stand still while Pito operates, and Gon gets ready for their fight, which is going to be epic as hell. I've been waiting for it way too long now, but that's one of my most like out of all the fights that are coming up in anime right now, the ones that I'm watching, it's one of the ones I'm most looking forward to. And the kill was my main dude. Though. I can't wait to see him actually throw down. I mean, him with Yupi was pretty good, but it wasn't like he went to his new form, but he didn't go all out for a long amount of time, which is what's going to happen next time. I hope. But yeah, so they're all at a stalemate now. And then it cuts back to Yuppie gaining control by turning on his rage a third time and figuring out the stability between his rage and one other emotion. I forget what it was, but it's basically it allows him to manifest his new, stronger form and gain complete control of it. Now, what happened was you've got Morel sitting on the sidelines with his deep purple going out. Knuckles hidden somewhere while the deep purples are still confusing Yuppie pretty much. Just he spread them all around him so he could keep an eye on them. But Morel can't move because apparently he's psyched out, and he's got to focus on controlling his deep purples as well. And basically, Knuckles waiting for the right time to strike. They said he needs 3 minutes and 50 seconds to even if he slowed down his use of aura or whatever, he would still need 3 minutes and 50 seconds before he couldn't use it anymore, and he would basically go completely bankrupt via the APR that Knuckle landed on him earlier on in the arc. And after Yuppie managed to manifest this new form and take it out, he took out the remaining deep purples and went to slash Moria. And right before he did, um, the invisible guy, I forget his name, Melarion or whatever. I'm not sure if I said that right, but he came back and basically turned him invisible. But Yuppie, being as smart as he is, which he don't really seem like, he seems like the bronze buster, not the smart type. This Poof looks like the smart type if you ask me. But basically he figured out Melarion's power really fast and followed the blood trail to try to find him. And Knuckle appeared to stop him and offered a deal to Yuppie saying that, hey, if you let them go, I'll fight you now. I'm ready. But Yupi wasn't having that shit. He's like, no, that's not a fair trade at all. But if you get rid of this thing on my shoulder, then we can, it might sweeten the deal. So Knuckle, being the absolute dumbass that he is, making the mistakes where he went back to save Knuckle or Shoot, my bad, where Knuckle went back to save Shoot, and now he's gonna remove the APR from Yupi, their only chance of defeating him. Now after this, they were supposed to fight, but Yupi's like, no, I don't need to kill you guys anymore. I'm going to find the king to save him. And after that, Knuckle had lost his resolve to fight Yupi because he didn't really seem like a bad guy to him. And they were going to get Morel out of there because he was wounded and all. But right at the end, Nog shows up. And he's looking rough, like he's done been down through hair. He's near about bald. He's got just a few hairs on his head. He obviously fell victim to most likely the King's Nin, from what I've figured out, because if you remember back early in the arc, Pito's Nin straight scared the shit out of him, so imagine what the King's Nin's gonna do. And he took morale away, but Malarion and Malarion and Knuckle decided they were gonna stay because even if they can't defeat Yupi, then they would still go defeat another Chimera Ant Royal Guard, so obviously their goal was probably Poof, because Pito was obviously in Gun's hands. And while all this was happening, Killer was back at an electrical outlet charging up his electrical powers just to go back to Gun here in a short amount of time. So imagine what's going to happen is they're all going to wind up in the room with Gun right before the time counts down, and it's going to wind up being Knuckle and Malarion versus Poof, and then Gon and Killua versus Pito, or maybe just Gon versus Pito and Killua and Knuckle versus Poof, while Malarion just sits back and helps somebody when they're needed. Like maybe throughout the fight he switches up, turning a different person invisible to help him out, which would be pretty cool and add a little bit of tactic to the fight. I love fights with tactic, because most of the fights in anime are just completely brawls over brain, and it's like, it gets old sometimes. That's why I like to mix it up. Don't get me wrong, I love those fights, but mixing it up is good as well. And other than that, the character progression, Yupi progressed a lot. And you got to see Knuckle basically realizing he's just one big fuck up. So the character progression, they did about as much as they really could with episodes, so that's a 10 out of 10. The animation's still flawless. As I would say it's flawless. It may not be really flawless because I have no prior knowledge to animation, so 10 out of 10 on both of those. And plot progression didn't really progress that much. Then again, Hunter x Hunter hasn't really been progressing that much anyway, so I'm gonna have to give it like an 8 out of 10 on plot progression. So overall, this episode's probably a 9 out of 10, and that's my rating for it, guys. Peace.